don't have it set up.
All right. Set it on the floor, just in case we bump into
You're right.
Yeah, you're right.
So you have to extend the legs.
Extend the legs.
All right, y'all. Well, shalom, shalom, everybody. YAH'S Assembly. I am grateful to be here. I know everybody's tired. It's been a long, trying week, and man, we got a lot to talk about today. But June, if you don't mind, could you lead us in prayer?
Yeah. Father, I'd like to thank you for bringing us together today, getting us all here safe, Father. Thank you for waking us all up, and thank you for the life that you've blessed us with and to live for this day. Father, I pray for an understanding and knowledge as we get into this word, Father, and that we may discern and decipher what it is that we need to know, Father. In your name I pray. Yeah. Shalom.
Shalom. All right, so Yahuda. Looks like we're having some technical difficulties, young king. You good? Now you're just gonna dump the trash can over? You see the cord there. Why are you putting it right there? You good? You straight?
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Move it again.
Here, just move it. Just move it. Because June can attest last time when we tried to do this, they cut off like 30 to 40, no, about an hour actually.
Wow.
A time about some certain things that we talked about. So I'm gonna actually end up re-recording that portion and then add to it later. But we've been going over faith or pay action. And it's just imperative in this day and time that we realize that our faith is not supposed to be in man. Man does have wisdom, but the wisdom of man should not be our Elohim or God. And there's a lot of people who are just so stuck on man. So to understand faith, I think it's imperative that we go over the father of faith. Like, who does the Bible say is the father of faith?
Well, the father of faith.
No, the earthly father of faith.
Earthly father of faith.
Who originally was the covenant given to? Who?
Moshe.
No, before that.
Before Moshe.
Yeah, because he had many sons, and many sons had Abraham.
That's right.
So the father of faith, because there were certain things that he did, and the thing that we're really going to focus on is diligently seeking him. So it's pay action, faith by diligently seeking him, the father of faith. So we're going over Abraham. So before we begin, like we always do, we're going to go to the instructions of the Most High. And we're going to Deuteronomy 1. And we are going to read Deuteronomy 1. And here, I'll get there and I'll start it off. I'm already there, Dev. Okay, so, and it says, "These be the words which Moshe spake unto all Israel on this side Jordan, in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel and Laban and Hazeroth and Dizahab. These are 11 days' journey from Horeb by the way of Mount Seir unto Kadesh Barnea. And it came to pass in the 40th year, in the 11th month of the first day of the month, that Moshe spake unto the children of Israel, according unto all that Yahuwah had given him in commandment unto them. And he had slain Sihon, the king of the Amorites." So in case you don't know, the Amorites were giants, "which dwelt in Heshbon, and Og." We read about Og, which I'm about to really go in about Og here in a little bit. And Og, the king of Bashan, which dwelt at Ashtaroth, in Idri. So there was a place called Ashtaroth, and we know she's a false deity. On this side, Jordan, in the day, or excuse me, in the land of Moab, began Moshe to declare this Torah or this law, saying, Yahuwah our Elohim spake unto us in Horeb, saying, You have dwelt long enough in this mount. Turn you and take your journey and go to the mount of the Amorites. So the Most High is telling them to go to where the headquarters of where these giants live. These half men, half amazing, half angelic beings live. And unto all the places nigh thereunto, in the plain, in the hills, and in the vale, and in the south, and by the seaside, to the land of the Canaanites, and unto Lebanon, unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Behold, I have set the land before you. Go in and possess the land which Yahuwah sware unto your fathers, Abraham, the father of faith, Isaac, and Jacob, to give unto them and to their seed after them. So the Most High, what did he just tell them to do?
To go into the land before you.
And to take it. So he gave them his word, because he said, okay, now this is the time.
Because he swore it unto Abraham.
There you go. Because he said that this is the time that I'm going to fulfill the oath or the promise that I've said to you. Okay, so let's see how the children of Israel react. And I spake unto you at that time, saying, I am not able to bear you myself alone. So this is Moshe, bless you. God bless you. Yahuwah, your Elohim, hath multiplied you, and behold, you are this day as the stars of heaven for multitude. Yahuwah, Elohim of your fathers, make you 1,000 times so many more as you are, and bless you as he hath promised you. How can I myself alone bear your cumbrance and your burden and your strife? So this is Moshe letting them know there's too many people for me to be able to be the only judge. So then he says, take you wise men and understanding and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you. And you answered me and said, the thing which thou hast spoken is good for us to do. So I took the chief of your tribes, wise men and known, and made them heads over you. Over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50s, and captains over tens, and officers among your tribes. And I changed your judges at that time, saying, hear the cause between your brother and judge righteously. I thought no one can judge me. So Moshe, he's setting people up to judge people, because we have to be able to judge between clean and unclean, profane and or the common and the uncommon or unclean. The causes between your brother, and judge righteously between every man and his brother, and the stranger that is with him. You shall not respect persons in judgment, but you shall hear the small as well as the great. You shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is Elohim's. And the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear you. And I commanded you at that time all the things which you should do. And when we departed from Horeb, we went through all that great and terrible wilderness, which you saw by the way of the mountain of the Amorites, as Yahuwah, our Elohim, commanded us, and we came to Kadesh Barnea. And I said unto you, you are come unto the mountain of the Amorites, which Yahuwah, our Elohim, doth give unto us. Jim, can you continue?
Behold, Elohim, behold, Yah, thy Elohim, hath set the land before thee. Go up and possess it. The land before thee. As Elohim, as Yah, Elohim of thy fathers, have said unto thee, fear not, neither be discouraged. And ye came near unto me, every one of you, and said, we will send men before us, and they shall search us out the land, and bring us word again by what way we must go up, and into what cities we shall come. And the saying pleased me well.
Mm.
And I took 12 men of you, one of a tribe. And they turned and went up into the mountain and came unto the valley of Eshcol
Mm-hmm.
and searched it out. And they took of the fruit of the land in their hands and brought it down unto us and brought us word again and said, it is a good land which Yah, our Elohim, do give us.
Mm-hmm.
Notwithstanding ye would not go up, but rebelled against the commandment of Yah, your Elohim.
So does it sound like they have the faith that they're supposed to have? The Most High told him to go there and possess the land that he said that he was going to fulfill the promise that he had given to our forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And they're being what? They're being disobedient. Okay, keep going.
And ye murmured in your tents and said, because Yah hated us, he hath brought us forth out of the land of Egypt and delivered us into the hand of Amorites to destroy us. So they lacking faith for real.
Yeah, for real.
He told them that this land is promised to you. But anyways, whither shall we go up? Our brethren have discouraged our hearts, saying, the people is greater and taller than we. The cities are great and walled up to heaven. And moreover, we have seen the sons of the Anakims there. Then I said unto you, dread not, neither be afraid of them. Yah, your Elohim, which goeth before you, he shall fight for you according to all that he did for you in Egypt before your eyes. And in the wilderness where thou hast seen how Yah thy Elohim bare thee, as a man do bear his son, in all the way that ye went into until ye came into this place. Yet in this thing ye did not believe Yah, your Elohim, who went in the way.
Wait, they didn't what?
They didn't believe.
So they didn't have no faith.
None at all.
Doubting from the start.
So they didn't believe him.
And
Okay.
even after what they seen in Egypt, they still doubt.
That's crazy.
I mean, I know Moshe did some crazy stuff, man, but like these are giants, man. I don't think the Most High can do that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, keep going.
33, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who went in the way before you to search you out a place to pitch your tents in fire by night to shew you by what way ye should go. And Yah heard the voice of your words and was wroth and swear, saying, surely there shall not one of these men of this evil generation see that good land, which I swear to give unto your fathers. Save Caleb, the son of
Zephaniah.
is that what they do?
Hold on. Caleb.
36.
Yeah, Zephaniah.
Yephaniah.
Mhm.
And shall see it, and to him will I give the land that he hath trodden upon, and to his children because he hath wholly followed Yahuwah. Also, Yah was angry with me for your sakes, saying, thou also shalt not go thither.
So you're not supposed to, like, you're not going to go in there.
But Joshua, the son of Nun, which standeth before thee, he shall go in thither. Encourage him, for he shall cause Israel to inherit. Moreover, your little ones, which ye said should be a prey, and your children, which in that day had no knowledge between good and evil, they shall go in thither and unto them will I give it, and they shall possess it.
See, and this is why even the Messiah, he would always say, like, except you become as a child, you shall not inherit the kingdom. Because when the kingdom was established, even in their day, anybody over 20 years and up, they didn't make it. That's why we have to be like a child, because it says they didn't know, they had no knowledge between good and evil. So it's like that's why you're always supposed to be renewing your mind, always supposed to be, studying his word day and night, Um, you want to go this one? You got that?
What number we on?
40.
But as for you, turn you and take your journey into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. Then he answered and said unto me, We have sinned against Yahuwah. We will go up and fight according to all that Yahuwah, our Yah, commanded us. And when he had girded on every man his weapon of war, you were ready to go up into the hill. And then Yahuwah said unto me, Say unto them, Go not up, neither fight, for I am not among you, lest ye be smitten before your enemies. So I spake unto you, and ye would not hear, but rebelled against the commandments of Yahuwah, and went presumptuously up into the hill. And the Amorites, did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
Which dwelt in that mountain, came out against you, and chased you, as bees do, and destroyed you in Seir, even unto Parma. And ye returned and wept before Yahuwah, but Yahuwah would not hearken to your voice, nor give ear unto you. So ye abode in Kadesh many days, according unto the days that you abode there.
Okay. So now, the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, that's like the book of basically of the receipts of faith. So we're going to go to Hebrews 11. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. What is faith? Mm-hmm. Anybody? What's faith?
It's a devotion with no question.
Devotion with no questions?
Faith is believing. Believing in whatever it is you believe in, like, no doubt.
Right.
Without having doubt.
Right. And then we also know that faith without works or actions behind it is dead, right? Okay, so can somebody read Hebrews 11, verse 1?
11, verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
So what is substance?
Substance.
So in this context, it's like the Most High gives you a dream, and like you can see it in your mind, you can see it in your eyes. You pray about it, you speak about it, you start acting towards it, but nobody else can believe it. It's the substance, but you don't have any evidence, but you know that it can be or it will be because the Most High's word cannot return unto him void. So in this day and age, because there are we talked about this before, there's churches, assemblies telling you to go get the jab. There's literally some churches that are allowing FEMA to come in and give it to you. And then, your son talked about there's another virus coming that's supposed to be even more deadly than coronavirus. Are you going to have faith in the Most High? Or is your faith going to go to this fear system that they keep us in a constant state of chaos? Mm-hmm. It's really it's literal magic. It's called chaos magic. That's literally what they're doing. And people are just so afraid, and everything that comes on the TV, people consider it as what? Gospel. Even though once they do their own research and it conflicts that, and you're just kind of like, well, if it's on the TV, it must be true.
It's psychology.
It is psychology. It is psychology. It really is psychology. Okay. So now we're going to jump down to verse 6.
Still in 11?
Yeah. But without faith, because we know this, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Elohim must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So what does it mean to diligently seek him?
constantly,
Mm.
continuously seek him. Any
So-
chance you get to seek him.
Okay. I mean, that's good. That's actually right along with the definition. So we're gonna go to the definition of the word. So it's G1567 exeteo. It means, like you said, to seek out, to search for, to seek out, i.e., investigate, scrutinize, to seek out for oneself, beg, crave. Now, then it says to demand back, require. So, which we'll get to that fourth one probably a little bit later. Yeah, we'll definitely get to that a little bit later. But like you said, it's to seek out, to search for. Like you got to investigate. You can't just believe everything that's on the surface. You can't just always believe everything on the TV. Like, how do we allow strangers to dictate everything that we think about? We don't know if they got these degrees that they're saying. They are literal actors hired by the government, and we place all of our faith into them. Like, man, can you speak of that person's character? He could be a Klansman. He could be a mass murderer. He could be a rapist. But people just want to just believe everything that this I don't know, dumb to death to machine tells us with no evidence.
Programmer.
Exactly. So again, to seek out, search for, investigate, scrutinize, and then for oneself, but also to demand back and require. To demand back and require. I'm gonna say this one more time. To demand back and require. Okay.
That's not showing on there.
What? Why is it not showing right there? Hold on. Let me. Okay, see. I don't know why it's not. Why? There we go.
Black screen.
Yeah, there we go. Now maybe it'll let me. On current slide. We good?
Mm-hmm.
It's on there?
Mhm.
Okay. Because I don't know why it's not going back to the slideshow thing. Keeps having upload pending. So we're just going to move forward. So, how did Abraham diligently seek him? That from what we know about the definition, does the Bible tell us, well, the way the Bible's constructed now, tell us how he diligently sought him out? you trying to read it first, but does it? Jeremiah, go ahead and read that for me. Genesis 12, verses 1 through 4.
Can't see it from here. Get like that. I can barely see it from here. 12.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Lord has said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will shew thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. So Abram departed as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 70 and 500.
And 5.
Was 70 and 5 years old when he departed out of Haran.
So the reason why we went here is because it doesn't tell you necessarily how he ended up diligently seeking the Most High. We just read in verse 1 that the Most High is speaking to him. How does he know the Most High's voice? What did he do to get to that point to where the Most High is literally speaking with him? So I went here because it's not in the Bible the way it's constructed.
It's vague.
Right, very vague. It leaves some stuff out, right?
Vague description.
So now, because Jasher's mentioned twice in the Bible, we're going to read from the book of Jasher. Now, we're going to go to Jasher 9. And when somebody gets there, please read verse 6 for me.
Joshua 9,
Mhm.
verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
And Abram was in Noah's house 39 years.
He was in whose house?
Noah's
Noah,
house.
okay. Mhm.
And Abram knew Yahuwah from 3 years old, and
Mm.
he went in the ways of Yahuwah until the day of his death,
Mm.
as Noah and his son Shem had taught him.
Mhm.
And all the sons of the earth in those days greatly transgressed against Yahuwah, and they rebelled against him, and they served other gods, and they forgot Yahuwah who had created them in the earth and in the inhabitants of the earth made unto themselves. At that time, every man his god, gods of wood and stone, which could neither speak, hear, nor deliver, and the sons of men served them, and they became their gods.
No, it says that he knew the Most High from 3 years old, but how did he diligently seek him? Because it says you have to investigate, you have to seek it out, you have to scrutinize and search out for yourself. How did he diligently seek him? Because in this time, our faith has got to be in the Most High, but how? What did he do? Like, where does it say that
It don't say.
it's in Genesis is even more vague. It's just the Most High just talking to him, and you have no idea. Like, oh, okay, now we find out. Okay, from 3 years old, that's still like, man, from a shorty.
Yeah.
From a shorty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're gonna keep going. Somebody read 7 through 10.
And the king and all of his servants, and Terah with all his household, were then the first of those that served gods of wood and stone.
So he comes from a house of paganism. Okay.
And Terah had 12 gods of large size made of wood and stone. After the 12 months of the year.
How many months of the year we got now?
Something like 12.
They're all named after a different god.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's kind of strange.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that.
Janus, January.
What about February?
I forget the one for that. But
it's just like the days of the week.
Yeah, they're all named after it. Thursday is Thor's day.
In Genesis, that's
Thor.
why it says just, that was the first day. But the Romans gave it.
Right, what they wanted.
Of course. Day of the week name.
Right.
And let me start that up. Oh, no, 9.
You're on 8.
I'm still on 8.
Yeah.
Just started. Yeah. And Terah had 12 gods of large size made of wood and stone after the 12 months of the year. And he served each one monthly. And every month, Terah would bring his meat offering and drink offering to his gods. Thus did Terah all the days.
Terah.
And all that generation were wicked in the sight of Yahuwah. And they thus made every man his god. But they forsook Yahuwah, who had created them.
Boy, ain't nothing new under the sun.
And there was not a man found in those days in the whole earth who knew Yahuwah, for they served each man his own God, except Noah and his household. And all those who were under his counsel knew the Lord, knew Yahuwah in those days. So
we know that because of his upbringing, that gave him a head start, like that gave him a cushion. But that still don't mean, there's so much that happened to Abraham or Abram at this time that we're not even going to even touch the surface of, because there was a prophecy about him. There was a prophecy about Moshe. They tried to kill him when he was a baby too. They ended up killing his brother. We're going to read about that later. Actually, he got 2 of his brothers ended up getting killed. Exactly. So we're going to keep going. Jeremiah, if you don't mind reading here, you can take mine because I got it on the screen. 11 through 15.
11 through 15. Yes, sir. And Abraham, the son of Terah, was waxing great in those days in the house of Noah, and no man knew it, and the Lord was with him. And the Lord gave Abram an understanding heart, and he knew all the works of that generation were vain, and that all their gods were vain and were of no avail. And Abram saw the sun shining upon the earth, and Abram said unto himself, surely now this sun that shines upon the earth is God, and him will I serve. And Abram served the sun in that day, and he prayed to him. And when evening came, the sun set as usual, And Abram said within himself, surely this cannot be God.
Mm.
And Abram still continued to speak within himself.
So what is he doing now? He's what? He's scrutinizing. He's what? Investigating.
Investigating.
But didn't it just say that the Most High was with Abram?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So why is he looking for other gods?
It's the way of the days back then.
Right. Even today.
Yeah.
It's more so now than it was back then.
Yeah.
Keep on.
And Abram still continued to speak within himself. Who is he who made the heavens and the earth? Who created upon earth? Where is he?
Wow.
Keep going.
Because he's what? What is he doing?
Investigating.
He's diligently seeking him.
Okay. I wouldn't say keep going because, well, we're gonna end up getting there. Hold on. My computer stopped freezing.
That's crazy.
So, but you know, because the first commandment is we're not supposed to place any Elohim before the Most High.
Right.
And he's what? He's looking like, man, it's got to be the sun.
It's gotta be until the sun goes down.
No, you know, it's the moon. I was tripping. I was slipping. Man, it could be the stars.
But it makes sense though, because if you don't have a relationship with the Most High, you don't know.
You don't.
So until you actually start questioning, like, hey, I need to know, you're gonna find out.
So I'm gonna ask you guys three questions. So how did Abraham know Yahuwah, but not know who he was? Because you know he walked with the Most High, right? He walked with Yahuwah.
Mm.
Was he not taught to create his ways from his youth? Did Noah not bring him up in the way he's supposed to go? So what is he searching for then?
His own way of knowing who God is. His own personal way.
And then we see him going after trying to find who the Most High is, but he's going. Going
after the wrong path.
Right, yeah. And it still said that it said the Lord or Yahuwah was with him. So the Most High was still with him because what was he doing? He was diligently seeking.
Yeah.
He didn't want to worship the creation. He was trying to get straight to the Creator.
Yeah.
To the Creator.
And he was trying different things to trying to find out who the Creator was. Yeah.
Right.
He was looking at everything around him and what's going on.
Exactly.
Because Noah had a different, relationship with God. So everybody does. Not everybody's relationship is the same way.
But Noah knew how to properly serve the Most High.
Yeah.
But like you said, Noah had his own personal
relationship.
You know.
Yeah.
So we're done with Jasher 9 because then it's going to go into a lot of stuff about the tower and all this other kind of stuff. So now we're actually going to go to Jasher 11. You know how to adjust it? I can adjust it.
I got it. Okay.
So we're going to go Jasher 11 and we're going to start at verse 13.
You're already there.
And in the 50th
switch job.
So we'll start and in the 50th year?
Yes, on the screen. Yep.
Okay.
You said 11, right?
Yeah, starting at verse 13. No, you're right. Starting at verse 13. Jasher 11, starting at 13.
And in the 50th year of the life of Abram, son of Terah, Abram came forth from the house of Noah and went to his father's house. And Abram knew the Lord, and he went in his ways and instructions, and the Lord his God was with him.
So how does he know him? How is he walking with him, but he still doesn't know him? And like how? Make it make sense. And then it says he's following instructions. We know that that's covenant taught. That means he was following the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. But he still didn't know. So you can know these things and not know the Most High?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's what that's saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep going.
People do it today.
To this day.
People go to church, do the same thing.
To this day.
Commandments that don't even know God like that. You know? Yeah, it's easy to do. And Terah, his father, was in those days still captain of the host of King Nimrod, and he still followed strange gods. And Abram came to his father's house and saw 12 gods standing there in their temples. And the anger of Abram was kindled when he saw these images in his father's house. And Abram said, as the Lord liveth, these images shall not remain in my father's house. So shall the Lord who created me do unto me in 3 days, time I do not break them all.
So he said, look, either I'm going to destroy these things or the Most High is going to destroy me in 3 days. Point blank, period. Because we got to know, like, our people did not play about the Most High, about the covenant. We didn't. And you see Abraham's like, man, or Abram at the time was over here like, man, I got to find him. I got to find the source. I got to find the creation. I got to find the creator of the universe and not the universe. I don't want to serve the creation. I want to serve the creator.
Right.
The creator. And you're going to see this later. That's the whole reason why I brought this up.
Maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, man, I started taking all my mom's stuff out of the house, the angels, all of it. Like, only when she let me do it. 'Cause I just didn't go up in there snatching stuff out.
Right.
So I just, kept putting in her ear, suggesting, you need to get these great images out of the house. I know they're black angels and stuff, but
What does that mean?
they need to go. She just kept listening. I kept telling her bit by bit, but finally got to be able to take all that stuff out of there. Like the whole atmosphere of that apartment has changed.
Right.
Like,
and now
changed.
with that atmosphere changing, she is changing, but then that old her, it's not trying to fully come up out of her.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's really when she's got to just keep staying focused, being positive, praying to the Most High, getting in the Word, seeking the Most High for herself, scrutinizing, investigating, requiring, demanding. I'm not even going. Okay, keep going.
And Abram went from them, and his anger burned within him. And Abram hastened and went from the chamber to his father's outer court. And he found his father sitting in the court, and all his servants with him. And Abram came and sat before him. And Abram asked his father, saying, Father, tell me where is God who created heaven and earth, and all the sons of men upon earth, and who created thee and me? And Terah answered his son Abram and said, Behold, those who created us are all with us in this house.
So they know it's not the creator. None of those things. So they're not ignorant of these things. So why did they create something? Okay, keep going.
And Abram said to his father, My Lord, shew them to me, I pray thee. And Terah brought Abram into the chamber of the inner court. And Abram saw, and behold, the whole room was full of gods of wood and stone, 12 great images, and others less than they without number. And Terah said to his son, Behold, these are they which made all thou seest upon earth, and which created me and thee and all mankind.
So like Terry, he was really about that pagan life.
He was on the one,
bruh. Listen to that Yeezy, can't tell him nothing, right? Can't tell him nothing. June, keep going. June 22.
And Terah bowed down to his gods, and he then went away from them. And Abram, his son, went away with him. And when Abram had gone from them and went to his mother and sat before her, he said to his mother, Behold, my father has shown me those who made heaven and earth and all the sons of men. Now, therefore, hasten and fetch a kid from the flock and make of it savory meat, that I may bring it to my father's gods as an offering for them to eat. Perhaps I may thereby become acceptable to them.
But I mean, what's he doing? Like that, but so yeah, that's covenant talk too. Whenever you're trying to sup with somebody, that means you're trying to come in covenant or something like that. So let's see what happens. Keep going.
He's testing
it.
And his mother did so, and she fetched the kid and made savory meat thereof, and brought it to Abram. And Abram took the savory meat from his mother and brought it before his father's gods. And he drew nigh to them that they might eat. And Terah, his father, did not know of it. And Abram saw on the day when he was sitting amongst them that they had no voice, no hearing, no motion, and not one of them could stretch forth his hand to eat.
So you mean like in the rosary beads and the crosses, the necklaces, everything that everyone has, even the pictures of Jesus or whatever, the statues, whatever. There's no power in none of those things.
All of them protect you, man. That cross is just
you're idolizing something that's not going to do nothing for you. You're putting your faith in the wrong thing. an object that's
Just
not.
stop a bullet. Stop anything that's coming at you. A disease. Just put the cross on.
So, and we're also watching the evolution of Abram to become Abraham. Because what's happening? He's saying, wait, everything that everyone else worships has no power. It can't even eat this food. It can't breathe. It can't blink. It can't fart. I mean, what can it really do?
It can sit still.
It can sit the mannequin challenge.
I'm telling you, it will win every time.
Every time.
Every time.
Undefeated.
Yeah,
Undefeated.
for real.
But we see what he's doing. He is still investigating. He's diligently seeking out the Most High.
Say, what they say, 300. Put your guys to the test.
Got to. Let's put up a shut up time.
Yeah.
Abram, he wasn't. We about to see how much about this life he really was. Keep going.
And Abram took the savory meat from his mother and brought it before his father's gods into the chamber. And he came to okay, that's 29. 30. And Abram viewed them, and behold, they had neither voice nor.
Wait,
hearing.
no. Yeah, where you at?
You're on 28, bro.
I'm on 28.
Yeah.
Oh, you skipped the whole verse.
Yeah, you skipped 20. When did you read 27? Or you just read 27?
No. Yeah, 27.
Yeah, you're on 27.
27.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And saw the
Glasses
days
for
in the
what?
midst, and they had no
Yeah.
okay to stretch his hand to reach out. And Abram mocked them and said, surely the savory meat that I prepared has not pleased them, or perhaps it was too little for them, and for that reason they would not eat. Therefore tomorrow I will prepare fresh savory meat, better and more plentiful than this, in order that I may see the result.
So
Wasting food.
yeah, for real. I know that meat was probably
What kind of meat was it? I wonder.
Man, look
How
at
good
you,
was it?
boy.
Hungry too. You over wasting food.
Yeah, for real. We going through a pandemic. You want to waste some food? All right, read the 30.
Read the 30. Okay. And it was on the next day that Abram directed his mother concerning the savory meat.
Hey, my dukes.
And his mother rose and fetched 3 fine kids from the flock, and she made of them some excellent savory meat, such as her son was fond of. And she gave it to her son Abram, and Terah his father did not know of it. And Abram took the savory meat from his mother and brought it before his father's gods into the chamber. And he came nigh unto them that they might eat. And he placed it before them. And Abram sat before them all day, thinking perhaps they might eat.
They gotta be hungry.
And Abram viewed them, and behold, they had neither voice nor hearing, nor hearing, nor did one of them stretch forth his hand to the meat to eat.
Okay, Jessica, can you read?
Oh, no.
We are on 31.
Okay. And in the evening of that day in that house, Abram was clothed with the spirit of Yahuwah.
Okay.
And he called out and said, woe unto my father and this wicked generation, whose hearts are all inclined to vanity, who serve these idols of wood and stone, which can neither eat, smell, hear, nor speak, who have mouths without speech, eyes without sight, ears without hearing, hands without feeling, and legs which cannot move. Like them are those that made them and that trust in them. And when Abram saw all these things, his anger was kindled against his father. And he hastened and took a hatchet in his hand and came into the chamber of the gods, and he broke all his father's gods. And when he had done breaking the images, he placed the hatchet in his hand of the great God, which was there before them. And he went out, and Terah, his father, came home, for he had heard at the door the sound of striking of the hatchet. So Terah came into the house to know what this was about. And Terah, having heard the noise of the hatchet in the room of images, ran to the rooms of the images, and he met Abram going out. And Terah entered the room and found all the idols fallen down and broken, and the hatchet in his hand of the largest which was not broken, and the savory meat which Abram his son had made was still before them. And when Terah saw this, his anger was greatly kindled, and he hastened and went from the room to Abram. And he found Abram his son still sitting in the house, and he said to him, What is this work thou hast done to my gods? And Abram answered Terah his father, and he said, Not so, my lord, for I brought savory meat before them, and when I came nigh to them with the meat that they might eat, they all at once stretched forth their hands to eat before the great one had put forth his hand to eat. Really?
Yeah.
And the large one saw their works that they did before him, and his anger was violently kindled against them.
On my cake.
And he went and took the hatchet that was in the house and came to them and broke them all. And behold, the hatchet is yet in his hand, as thou see.
So he still said, no, man, like, like these 11 small, guys, they had the nerve to try to eat before the big Aki, so, he had to come in and bam, boom, bam, so, he had to do what he had to do. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Terah's
Sarcastic,
anger,
boy.
right. And Terah's anger was kindled against his son Abram when he spoke this. And Terah said to Abram, his son, in his anger, What is this tale that thou hast told? Thou speakest lies to me. Is there in these God spirits soul or power to do all thou hast told me?
So Terah knows that there's not a spirit, a soul, or any power in none of these things. So why are you worshiping the creation?
Yeah.
Okay.
He want to know to believe whatever he say.
Right.
Mhm.
Are they not wood and stone, and have not myself made them? And canst thou speak such lies, saying that the large God that was with them smote them?
Smote them. Mhm.
It is thou that didst place the hatchet in his hand, and they said he smote them all. And Abram answered his father and said to him, And how castest thou then serve these idols in whom there is no power to do anything? Can those idols in which thou trusted deliver thee? Can they hear thy prayer when thou callest upon thee?
Mm. So can a jab deliver you when it hasn't even been tested? The one from Moderna, they literally said it's an 18-month. It won't be done until when, June? For the trial?
October 16th, 2022.
2022. So that means that everybody that's taking it is the part of the trial. Can you pray to it? Can it deliver you out?
Really can kill you.
Real quick, it can give you Bell's palsy. All right, keep going. My bad.
Can I deliver thee from the hands of thy enemies, or will thou fight thy battles for thee against thy enemies, that thou shouldest serve wood and stone, which can neither speak nor hear? And now surely it is not good for thee nor for the sons of men that are connected with these to do these things. Are you so silly, so foolish, or short of understanding that you will serve wood and stone and do after this manner? Whoa.
Well, he ain't playing. He's talking to his parent too, his dad. So okay, keep going.
And forget Yahuwah who made heaven and earth, and who created you in the earth, and thereby bring a great evil upon your soul in this matter by serving stone and wood. Did not our fathers in the days of old sin in this matter? And the Lord God of the universe brought the waters of the flood upon them and destroyed the whole earth.
So I know a lot of people are into this universalism, giving it all to the universe. But you see, says that there's an Elohim that created the universe.
Exactly.
So it's not supposed to go to the universe. You got to give the Most High the praise that He's due.
Always.
You got to give it to Him, because they know how to manipulate the laws that the Most High He's set up, and they want to give praise here when it's supposed to go to the Creator.
It says He created all things.
All
He did not
things.
create the universe.
All things.
Yeah, that's what they be.
That's what they be talking about? Okay, go ahead.
Now therefore my father refrain from this, and bring not evil upon thy soul and the souls of thy household. And Abram hastened and sprang from before his father, and took the hatchet from his father's largest idol, with which Abram broke it and ran away.
So then he finally broke the last one. Like, yeah, I'm getting rid of all of these. Okay.
And Terah, seeing all that Abraham has done, hastened to go from his house, and he went to the king and he came before Nimrod and stood before him, and he bowed down to the king. The king said, "What dost thou want?"
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Bam, can you start reading from 51?
And he said, I beseech thee, my Lord, to hear me. Now 50 years back, 50 years back that child was born to me, and thus had he done to my gods, and thus has he spoken. And now, therefore, my Lord and King, send for him that he may come before thee and judge him accordingly to the law, that we may be delivered from his evil.
So the king and Terah and them have a different law. So we're kind of gonna, okay, so what type of people does the Most High choose? Does he choose the people that have the easiest life, don't ever go through nothing, just get hunky dory, whatever? Or,
He don't choose qualified. That don't
Mm.
sound like hard work. So he don't call the qualified, he qualified to call.
yeah, that's what they say. So,
But stiff necked people.
boy, we got the stiffest. So I'm just gonna read it. So Isaiah 48, 10 through 12. Stay in Joshua.
Okay.
Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. He chose us in the furnace of affliction. You're about to know about the furnace of affliction that Abraham went through. For mine own sake, even for mine own sake will I do it. For how should my name be polluted, and I will not give my glory unto another? Give the Most High his glory. Hearken unto me, O Jacob and Israel, my called. I am he, I am the first, I also am the last. So the Most High, he chooses the people that have to go through something. And we about to find out what he went through. They still making movies Abraham right now. We don't even know it. Like this new Hobbit movie, The Five Kings.
You seen the trailer?
Who do y'all think that's about? That's about Abraham.
You seen the
It's about Genesis and Abraham.
Seen the trailer for Risen?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
It pops up on YouTube as an ad. But remind me to pull it up after.
Man, okay. So keep going to Jasper. Start at 52. We can go back now. My bad.
And the king sent 3 men of his And the king sent 3 men of his servants, and they went and brought Abram before the king. And Nimrod and all his princes and servants were that day sitting before him. And Terah sat also before him. Who was Terah?
Terah,
His father.
Abraham's father.
Okay, I figured that. Just make sure. I read this somewhere. And the king said to Abram, What is this I hate these words. What is this that thou hast done to thy father and to his gods? And Abram answered to the king in the words that he spoke to his father. And he said, The large God that was with them in the house did to them that thou hast heard.
So now he telling the king that the Lord God killed them all, right? Okay.
They gods, right?
Right. I mean, it's supposed to be possible, right? Why y'all looking at me crazy? Y'all worship them. Y'all feed them every day, right? They can't fight. All right, keep
And the
going.
king said to Abram, Had they power to speak and eat and do that as thou hast said? And Abram answered to the king, saying, And if there be no power in them, why dost thou serve them and cause the sons of men to err through thy follies? Keep going.
Right, because they knew it, and they still want to set it up. All these statues, and all this, and all that, all these amulets.
Like the Lord's God did it.
Yeah,
he did it.
he did it. But y'all mad at me like he can't do it because so King, so you know he ain't got no power.
You know the king did talk about, like, come on now, they fucking got no power.
Oh, so that's why the word Nimrod means stupid. It literally means stupid.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Like if somebody calls you a Nimrod, they are talking smack to you. Nimrod literally means stupid.
No, use the term where I come from.
Yeah, they use ma'am.
The white folks use it.
I'm joking. My bad. Keep going.
I had to do like the Lord's God did. Take you out.
I was wondering, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Everybody was like, what is he doing? I thought he had. Never mind. I ain't. Keep going. Keep going.
Doest thou imagine that they can deliver thee or do anything small or great, and thou should serve them? And why wilt thou not sense the God of the whole universe who created thee and in whose power is in to kill and keep alive?
So again, we know that there's a creator of the universe. People have faith in the creator. Stop worshiping the creation. I'm telling you, there's a big movement in this. Oh, the universe, the universe, the universe. Yes, they know how to manipulate that stuff, but you still got to give it to the creator. He created this matrix in which we all live in. Keep going, my bad.
Oh, foolish, simple, and ignorant king.
Nimrod.
He talking like that to the king?
Bruh, to the king.
Man, what? Woe unto thee forever.
Woe means peril or death. So
I thought thou wouldst teach thy servants the upright way, but thou hast not done this, but hast filled the whole earth with thy sin and the sins, with thy sins and the sins of thy people who have followed thy ways. That's what people don't understand. Like, following the wrong,
lead you down that path.
All right.
So is that the end of that?
No, it got 61. I got like 3 more verses.
Okay, go ahead. You can finish that.
Dost thou not know, and hast thou not heard, that this evil which thou doest, our ancestors sinned therein in the days of old, and the eternal Elohim brought the waters of the flood upon them, and destroyed them all, and also destroyed the whole earth on their account. And wilt thou and thou people rise up now and do like unto this work, in order to bring down the anger of Yahweh Elohim of the universe, and to bring evil upon thee and the whole earth. Now therefore, put away the evil deed which thou doest, and serve Elohim of the universe, as thy soul is in his hands, and then it will be well with thee.
So, is there more?
You got 2 more.
Go ahead.
And if thy wicked heart will not hearken unto my words to cause thee to forsake thy evil ways, and to serve the eternal Elohim, then wilt thou die in shame in the latter days, thou, thy people, and all who are connected with thee, hearing thy words, are walking in thy evil ways. And when Abram had ceased speaking before the king and princes, Abram lifted up his eyes to the heavens and said, Yahweh seeketh all the wickedness, and he will judge them. So, basically, everything you associated with gonna be cursed by this.
And so that definition of diligently seeking him was what again? To seeking, to search out, to investigate. What was that 4th definition of it? Because now he's using it. Well, scrutinize one, but there was a 4th one. Because now he's requiring it of the king. Because he's telling him to stop. He's telling his father. He's telling the king to stop doing that. And now he's talking about how all the other people that he's leading astray through his folly in his whole kingdom. So now he's requiring that of them and of himself. Because that's why he went to all these other gods to see if they were real. So now he is requiring that. And so when I was looking at the definition, I'm like, man, he did every last one. How? I mean, the definition was because of his life. Like this dude. Wait till we get into the next one. So I'm gonna ask you guys a question. What else is faith? What else is faith?
I know it was
what Abram just did.
Boy, because he talking to the king like the king can't just have him killed.
What else is good?
I got it on my tongue, but I don't know how to say it.
Say it.
Stand up for what you actually believe in.
I was just gonna say it was someone.
You weren't gonna say that.
It was like trying to having confidence. That's what I was trying to think.
Confidence.
Yeah.
Having the confidence
There you go.
that is gonna happen.
Or confidence in what you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
Stand up for what you believe in.
Well, what else? Because
the knowing
he's talking to that king like that king's a nobody. Like
so
Faith is having fear in the Most High as well, because he didn't fear what would happen to him talking to their king like that, because he was on the steps of death talking to their king like that. For real.
Huh?
I said he was on the steps of death talking to the king like that. So
I ain't care about
he put all
Yeah.
his fear in the Most
I don't
High.
care nothing
And
about
then
this.
he used his pay action like, Most High, hey, you see all this wickedness, handle that. That's basically what he's saying. So what else is faith? Okay. Let's go to Ephesians 6. Y'all know it's a shield.
Faith is a shield.
That's good.
Because he talking to him like he can just whoop everybody there, like I'll slay every last one. Look at me again. So I wish you would make another guy. I wish you would just make one more. He ain't do that. Oh yeah, my bad. We're gonna start at 11, and we're gonna read through verse 16. What up, Aki? Who's reading?
You said
Ephesians 6.
Start at 11.
Because yeah, go ahead.
Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth,
The Torah.
and having on the breastplate of righteousness.
Okay.
And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace.
Okay.
Above all, taking the shield of faith.
It's your protection.
Wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked.
Because we know that he only chooses those to go through the furnace of affliction. And this talks about how it will quench all the fiery darts of the enemy. It's our protection. It's not in a jab. It's not in FEMA. It's not in a president. It's not in a Black Lives Matter movement. It's not in none of that. It's got to be in the creator of the universe, not the universe. But it's our protection. And I don't think a lot of times we really think about that, because, again, look how Abram talking to a king. Now, at this point in time, Nimrod was basically the king of the whole earth. Like, he'd be like, oh, man, I could get your head chopped off. Like, I mean, come on, think about it. Like, not even that. Like, if he has brothers, sisters, wives, anything, he can get everybody chopped off. Nobody, whatever, we wouldn't be able to read about him right now. But did he care? Like, who did he fear more?
No man up there.
It's a shield. It's your protection. And we all got to go through stuff. We all have got to go through stuff. If you think that there's somebody in here that's not going through something, if you think any moray, any teacher, any evangelist, any apostle, any bishop ain't got something they got to repent for, you're crazy. You're crazy. Everybody has something that we have to turn back from. Everybody. That's why we're not supposed to have respecter of persons, because we don't know what they're going through, but we still have to judge righteously in that. But still, you don't know. But anybody that says that they don't have to sin, repent. Go ahead.
Say respecter of persons. You mean
Like in judgment? I'm talking in judgment, favoritism. Like okay, like Jeremiah's my brother, and you're my aunt, so I'm gonna favor Jeremiah, even though he's wrong in this situation, even though you were right.
Gotcha.
Like no, I'm not about to do that, because now I'm gonna get judged for that. So that's the understanding on that. You good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we're gonna go to Jasher 12, and we're gonna find out about the furnace of affliction. Jasher 12, yeah, and we're gonna read verses 1 through verse 43, and then that's gonna wrap it. Because I thought it was gonna be. I'm glad. I thought it was gonna be a lot longer. 1 through 43. We're gonna read
Chapter 1 through 43.
Jasher 12, verse 1 through 43. Verse 1 through 43. I'm gonna try to pull it up. Okay, I'm not gonna deal with you right now. Book of Jasher, which one? No, not Enoch.
Go ahead. Verse 1 through 43.
Yeah, Brandon, if you gotta go ahead.
And when the king heard the words of Abram, he ordered him to put into prison he ordered them to be put into prison. And Abram was 10 days in prison.
Mm.
And at the end of those days, the king ordered that all the kings, princes, and governors of different provinces and the sages should come before him. And they sat before him, and Abram was still in the house of confinement. And the king said to the princess and sages, have you heard what Abram, the son of Terah, has done to his father? Thus has he done to him. And I ordered him to be brought before me, and thus has he spoken. His heart did not misgive him, did he stir in my presence, and behold, now he is confined in the prison. And therefore decide that judgment is due to this man who reviled the king, who spoke and did all the things that you heard. And they all answered the king, saying, the man who revileth the king should be hanged upon a tree.
Ooh, curses every man that hangeth on a tree. They were trying to curse him. Keep going.
But having done all the things that he said, and having despised our gods, he must therefore be burned to death. For this is the law in this matter.
Now, you're supposed to suffer not of what you live. So you remember they used to burn witches at the stake?
Yeah.
That's basically what they're trying to put on him. Okay, that's basically what they're trying to put on him now. Keep going.
If it pleases the king to do this, let him order his servants to kindle a fire both night and day in thy brick furnace, and then we will cast this man into it. The king did so, and he commanded his servants that they should prepare a fire for 3 days and 3 nights in the king's furnace that is in Kasdim. And the king ordered them to take Abram from prison and bring him out to be burned.
So it's not enough that they're going to burn him in a fire. They heat like, man, we gotta turn the heat up for 3 days in 3 nights.
That's a lot of
in a brick
Bruh.
brick oven.
Because that's, brick sweats. We know that from military, but 1 point period. But that's how 3 days.
Twice?
Thrice. Keep going.
Y'all silly, man.
No, for real. 3 days and 3 days and 3
all
nights.
the king's servants, princes, lords, governors, and judges, and all the inhabitants of the land, about 900,000 men. God,
That's a lot, ain't it?
yeah, stood opposite the furnace to see Abram. That's a lot. They ain't got no front row. And all the women and the little ones crowded upon the roofs and towers to see what was doing with Abram. And they all stood together at a distance. And there was not a man left that did not come on that day to behold the scene. And when Abram was come, the conjurers of the king and the sages saw Abram, and they cried out to the king, saying, our sovereign lord, surely this is the man whom we know to have been the child at whose birth the great star swallowed the 4 stars, which we declared to the. Wow, that's a lot.
Okay.
I need some.
The great star swallowed the 4 stars, right? That new Hobbit movie, when they're talking about the 5 kings, that whole prophecy was about Abraham and what he ended up doing, ended up beating 5 kings. Everything that these movies, like the 2 Towers, all this stuff, it's about us. It's about our people. Or the Book of Enoch.
I ain't never even watched the movies. I thought they were corny. Now I gotta go back and watch them now.
Look, man, like this whole Hobbit series, if you start watching that first installment of this new Hobbit series, I haven't even watched the whole thing, but everything they're talking about, I'm like, man, that sounds like the children of Israel. That sounds like King David. That sounds like them getting scattered. Like once you start going back, I'm like, wait a minute, y'all are pulling everything from here. You know what they do? They mock us, and then they tell us our history without us knowing it's our history.
We're thinking it's funny or not the truth. Like the movie, I don't know if y'all seen it, but it's called Year One. It's literally a comedy, but literally it speaks about the children of Israel in there. And I was just like, I didn't either. And then I watched it the other day, and I was like, wait, let me rewind this. And I was like, wow, they like mocked us through the whole movie.
It's called Year One.
Year One.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Jack Black and the young guy.
Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, we're the tribe of Judah.
I thought about that one day.
Come on, people.
I was like, maybe I'm reading too. What?
And then like they're talking about the Clone Wars with all those computer animated stuff that's doing all the fighting. What do you think every country's doing now? They're telling us what's going to happen.
Artificial intelligence.
Yes. They're programming us and they're letting us know the stuff that's coming.
We ain't gonna have no more people working no more.
Yeah, for real. We already know, but yeah, keep going up, Brandon.
Okay, hold on. Where was I? All right. Which we declared to the king now 50 years since. I'm at verse 10. And behold, now his father has also transgressed thy commands and mocked thee by bringing thee another child, which thou didst kill.
So I just want you to know something, because when Moshe was born, what did they do?
We tried to kill him.
They tried to kill all the firstborn males, right?
Because they knew something was coming.
Why do you think they have all these abortion claims? They got to kill our firstborn. The same thing happened to Abraham. So his sibling ended up dying in his stead. It's in the book of Jasher because his father loved him and he had another child by a man child by a maid servant. So he gave his other child. You know what Nimrod did? He grabbed that child and dashed that child into pieces.
Whoa.
In his face.
He did.
In his face.
Abraham brother?
Huh? Him brother them. So he didn't already kill one of his siblings.
But it's nothing new, guys. I mean, look what they did to our ancestors. They
I'm telling
fed
you.
the babies to alligators
Yeah,
and
like,
stuff.
like the gathering, how people was watching
yeah,
like
exactly.
it was a
That's
movie.
what I was thinking.
Like, I was just thinking about that picture, like them kids
Oh,
eating
yeah.
ice cream while them
Watching
We're gonna watch it get
people
burning
clean.
today. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like I was entertainment to them folks.
This ain't even
You know how
Mississippi
evil you
talking
gotta
about
be?
burning.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't seen that picture in Illinois, have you?
Which one?
All right, so there's a famous, I hate to say this, but a famous picture of a lynching. And there's a man looking at the camera and there's somebody else doing this, right? So in Illinois, they have that exact painting on the wall, minus the man hanging from the two people hanging from the tree. I think it was the husband and wife. They hung him and burned him. And there's a child. I think he's nice, man. Ironically.
That's
Yeah, it's so just anyway.
I'm telling you, man. All right, keep going, man. Man, yeah.
Fight to the death.
Yeah, look.
I'm telling you.
And when the king heard their words, he was exceedingly wroth, and he ordered Terah to be brought before him. The king said, "Hast thou heard what the conjurers have spoken?"
What are conjurers?
Conjurers.
Witchcraft.
I was just saying, they bringing people the spirits up.
Conjurers. Yeah.
Now tell me truly, how didst thou? And if thou shalt speak truth, thou shalt be acquitted. And seeing that the king's anger was so much kindled, Terah said to the king, "My lord and king, thou hast heard the truth, and what the sages have spoken is right." And the king said, "How couldst thou do this thing, to transgress my orders, and to give me a child that thou didst not beget, and to take value for him?" Is he asking how she had a baby for him?
No, he's asking how you gave somebody else's baby away instead of giving me your baby, because there was a prophecy about a baby that will be born that was going to eat up the other stars, or eat or kill, destroy the other kings. That's why it's about 5 kings.
Stop that.
And that was about Abram. It was about Abraham, because he was always the promised seed. Okay, keep going.
And Terah answered the king, "Because my tender feelings were excited for my son. And at the time, or as you were at the time, and I took a son of my handmaid and I brought him to the king. The king said, Who advised thee to do this? Who advised thee to this? Tell me, do not hide aught from me, and then thou shalt not die." And Terah was greatly terrified in the king's presence, and he said to the king, "It was Haran, my eldest son, who advised me to this." And Haran was in those days that Abram was born, 32 and 30 years, 32 years.
So, so he just gave up his son? He gave up his other son for his own life. Abram's brother. Okay, read the next verse.
But Haran did not advise his father to anything. What? For Terah said this to the king in order to deliver his soul from the king, for he feared greatly. The king said to Terah, "Haran, thy son, who advised thee to this, shall die through fire with Abram. For the sentence of death is upon him for having rebelled against the king's desire in doing this thing." And Haran at that time felt inclined to follow the ways of Abram, but he kept it within himself. Haran said in his heart, "Behold, now the king has seized Abram on account of these things which Abram did, and it shall come to pass that if Abram prevail over the king, I will follow him. But if the king prevail, I will go after the king."
So does it sound like, boy? I was just about to ask you.
Literally just about to say, this dude is like, all right, whoever come out on top, that's my boy.
He sounded a little lukewarm right there.
Boy, I will spew you out.
Yeah, make your calling and election sure. He's like, man, look, king, if you win, I got you. Hey, Abram, though, if you, I got you. Right?
It's like placing bets. Like you bet the highest to the person.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
It's a 20-40 split.
No. No. Keep going.
And when Terah had spoken to the king concerning Haran, his son, the king ordered Haran to be seized with Abram. My bad. And they brought them both, Abram and Haran his brother, to cast them into the fire. And all the inhabitants of the land, and the king's servants and princes, and all the women and little ones were there, standing that day over them. The king's servants took Abram and his brother, and they stripped them of their clothes, excepting their
lower garments.
Okay, sorry, I'm getting text. Lower garments which were upon them, and they bound their hands and feet with linen cords. And the servants of the king lifted them up and cast them both into the furnace. The Lord loved Abram.
So how many days would that furnace be?
Three nights, 3 days, 3 nights.
So ain't nobody's gonna survive that. Like
Shouldn't.
ain't no way.
Man, that's high.
Like that's the end of the story. That's it. Like we ain't got no covenant with the
But
Most
this
High
is
no
the
more.
never-ending story, so we're good though.
It's also the song that never ends. So keep going.
All right.
All right, I love
Let's see what y'all did there.
No. And the Lord loved Abram, and he had compassion over him. The Lord came down and delivered Abram from the fire, and he was not burned. But all the cords with which they bound him were burned, while Abram remained and walked about in the fire. Holler at your boy.
So how is that possible?
He had faith.
And then what happened to the
Gotta
three
have
Israelites?
faith.
He believed in the
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Yeah.
But it happened prior to that, to our forefathers.
That's what I'm saying. I
Because
never
he
heard about
always does the same thing.
I've heard about people being thrown in the fire. I heard about people being thrown in the lion's den, but I don't remember this one.
This. I don't remember this
Because
one.
this one wasn't taught to us as a Joshua.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the books they took
There's a
out,
lot
but
of
the
books
Bible
missing in
mentions
the Bible
it. It
on purpose.
mentions it twice. So that's why we're learning about. No, yeah. Keep going.
And Haran died when they had cast him into the fire. He was burned to ashes, for his heart was not perfect with the Lord. And those men who cast him into the fire, the flame of the fire spread over them, and they were burned, and 12 men of them died.
So how many gods did they have?
12.
Oh, that's really strange. That 12 of them ended up dying, and it's crazy that Abram goes in there being consumed by a fire.
And he good.
But he was good. But then they get consumed by fire because the Most High, he's a consuming fire. So what is it? Like, what are we really trying to say here? Go ahead.
Okay. You said there was 12. All right. Well, that's what this said. There was 12 that were cast in there and burned up. All right. So.
Well, they weren't
12,
cast in. But yeah,
gotcha.
They were on the outside. They weren't cast in. There's only 2 in the fire.
There's only 2 people cast in the fire.
Oh, so
Abram and Haran.
now it begs the question: were those quote unquote gods, demons, walking amongst men? Because there was 12 specific people burned.
Yeah, because
he killed one for every one of their gods, for every one of Terah's gods.
Did he kill one of them, or did he kill one of?
no, the guards that threw them in there.
What I'm saying is just a hypothetical. Like, okay,
Don't make it too deep, bro. Don't make it too deep.
This is already deep, bro. Like we in the water already.
He said we already in the water. We in the deep end. What you mean?
I can't swim. So the question, the hypothetical that I'm coming up with is the ones who were burned.
Right.
All right. These multitude of people was already worshiping gods. So what if the one, say hypothetically, one of the ones that was burned, right, was one of the gods that they was worshiping and they just didn't know because he was among them, worshiping with them. What if he was?
It could have been all of them.
Does that make
Because the
sense?
Most High, he can do whatever he pleases to show his power. Like,
But yeah, I think I like that.
it's just really crazy because the Most High's like, oh, y'all want to put your hand on my anointing? Because Abram was the anointed. He was the son of man of his day because he learned from Noah. Son of man is a title. It's a title. He was the son of man of his day. And we're seeing it. We are seeing it. Keep going.
I read ahead and
I know.
Jaw drop.
I know.
And Abram walked in the midst of the fire for the same amount of days, 3 days and 3 nights. And all the servants of the king saw him walking around in the fire, and they came and told the king, saying, "Behold, we have seen Abram walking about in the midst of the fire, and even the lower garments."
I just want to stop you right there.
Sorry.
So he walked around for 3 days and 3 nights. It was already cooking for 3 days and 3 nights.
Yeah.
So
did he ever go to sleep just chilling on a cold like a pillow?
So just so you know, because we're watching the evolution, the transition from Abram to Abraham. Now we know that 7 days is a week. So 3 days and 3 nights. So they put him in on that 4th day, right? He walked in there 3 days, 3 nights. And then on the 4th day, 8 means a new beginning. This is why this was the newness of Abraham. This was the transition period for him. But what else is important about 3 days and 3 nights? When else do you remember hearing about that?
3 days, 3 nights. Jesus died.
He walked through. He went through Jesus. What they tell us. He went through hell Jesus. And had the gates open. Yeah. You know, going through all the hellfire and brimstone.
Yeah.
So the fire had to burn them and make them anew.
He only chooses people that go through the furnace of affliction. The furnace of affliction.
Go through the fire.
Keep going.
All right. Mr. This, the medicine.
Playing into.
All right. Abram walked about in the midst of the fire, and even the lower garments which are upon him are not burned, but the cord with which he was bound is burned. And when the king heard their words, his heart fainted, and he would not believe them. So he sent other faithful princes to this matter. And they went and saw it and told it to the king, and the king rose to go and see it. And he saw Abram walking to and fro in the midst of the fire. He saw Haran's body burn, and the king wondered greatly. And the king ordered Abram to be taken out from the fire, and his servants approached to take him out, and they could not, for the fire was round about, and the flame ascending towards them from the furnace. And the king's servants fled from it, and the king rebuked them, saying, "Make haste and bring Abram out of the fire, that you shall not die." Wow! So you can control the. All right,
Come on,
whatever.
man.
Look,
The
man.
servants of
Look.
the king.
Hold on. Because he was the Most High's anointed. Touch not his anointed. So you trying to send people in there? He gonna kill them.
Man,
Like you can't mess with nobody that the Most High's hand is on. You can't do
He
that.
sound a lot like a pharaoh. Don't trip. I got you.
that's what I'm saying. Like the audacity, like you seen all this before your own eyes. The audacity of
I
you be
wonder
like,
if he was
I got you.
Caucasian.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just, the Caucasian.
He's a king. He's a king though. Kings talk crazy, but he was actually using wisdom and saying it because he saw, oh man, our people keep dying. Hey man, just come out here, man. You got something behind you, so you can come out. I'm gonna stay over here. You just come out through that fire. Keep that thing away from me. I don't need to get burned because truly the burning bush is happening again. Go ahead.
Where was he when he got put in the fire? Because obviously he wasn't anywhere around.
The king?
Yeah.
He's probably in safety.
Like, if you notice that he was
He saw 12 of them
nowhere
get
there.
burned. He wasn't nowhere near that. Just like he was with those other 900,000 people watching, not close enough to the fire to be burned.
Was this? Oh God! Stop. Was this before or after those other people got ate up after Egypt?
This is before.
This is before
way
that?
Before Egypt.
Did the people who got rescued out of Egypt know anything about this? If
Yes, these are our books. This is our history.
That's why they said a stiff necked people. These folk hard headed.
This is nuts. Like,
this is our history. Yeah, they knew it.
All right.
I just said, like I said, I just associate it to now. Like you can just see, like time at a time we'll see something happen. It'll happen to Paw Paw. It'll happen to Uncle John. It'll happen to cousin Junebug.
To May May.
Forget what we're gonna do. We're gonna turn around. We're gonna do the same thing. Why? what sense does that make? We've been doing it throughout our.
Eventually,
but that's where their faith is at, though. Their faith is in what they've seen. They don't have any faith in the unseen of, oh, I can break this cycle. Well, no, my granddaddy, them, my step granddaddy, them did this, so I got to do it.
What the others might think about them, so they'll just get along, man.
That's crazy, and it's even, bro. It's even in the following of the faith they have.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly the same.
Well, my mom, Papa did it, so it's good.
Mm-hmm.
What? What?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
All right.
I was raised that way. That's what they say.
I was raised. I ate pork all my life.
Man, that stuff makes me sick, dude.
Yeah, it's my stomach.
That's what they excuse.
Here lately, I'm not gonna lie. And every time I eat something that's got pork on it, I either do my best to take it off, or if I do eat it, I like pray before I do, and I feel guilty and bad, and then eventually I feel sick and go to the bathroom. And,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I'm just allergic to it at this point. Like, if I smell it, I'm like,
I don't know, man. It just doesn't taste the same at all.
It don't even smell good.
I don't have a
Like,
taste at all. It doesn't have a taste to me.
No, it does have a taste.
For me, I'm saying for me personally, it doesn't. I don't taste
savory.
anything.
I don't know where we were.
A penny.
Mm-hmm.
I had ordered something, and it was something. I don't know if I should have asked or something, but when I put it in my mouth, I started chewing up. I was like, this don't taste right. And I literally, and I asked, I was like, is this pork? And they were like, yeah. I was like, oh, heck no. Like, I don't know what it was, but I was like, man, I didn't even think to ask that.
Just think about the audacity. Like, people look at you crazy for not eating one of the most unclean animals ever created.
Yeah.
It's literally the
vacuum cleaner.
Like, it kills our people.
It's a dumpster.
Man,
it kills us.
Me and a
real, for
Muslim
real.
had a conversation on TikTok, and we went back and forth just on pork alone, and the whole thread was like, "Y'all are wrong," and da 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 da. I'm eating a pizza right now, and it's good now. And we was like, "All right, man, you go ahead." You know what I'm saying? No
I
problem.
mean, I ate pizza too. I
And
don't
it
eat it
was-
with no pork.
What was it? I can't remember what
I
it
can
was.
understand that part because I look at my history. Like when I was 15, I told myself, I said, if there's a religion out there that's telling me that I can eat this, that, or whatever, I don't want it. Because this bacon tastes good.
Boy, it used to have a hold on me too.
Man,
That was the hardest thing.
tear pieces of bacon and roll it in bread like this back in the day.
Never tried that.
Don't do it now.
But
I'm
man, I
not.
am today.
I get some turkey bacon though.
I just slapped that 15-year-old back in the day. That was me. So,
You ain't lying.
slapping, beat him up.
Like I don't even have
teeth.
I don't even have a taste for it no more. Like it's done. It's
It's
done.
just got a foul smell to it and everything. I'm good.
But keep going, Brandon, because we're reading through 43.
All right, good to go. And the servants of the king again approached to bring Abram out. And the flames came upon them and burned their faces, so that 8 of them died. Wow. And when the king saw that his servants could not approach the fire, lest they should be burned, the king called to Abram, O servant of the God who is in heaven, go forth from amidst the fire and come hither before me. And Abram hearkened to the voice of the king, and he went forth from the fire and came and stood before the king. So Abram came out. The king and all his servants saw Abram coming before the king with his lower garments upon him, for they were not burned, but the cord with which he was bound was burned. The king said to Abram, how is it that thou was not burned in the fire? And Abram said to the king, the God of heaven and the earth, in whom I trust and who has all in his power, he delivered me from the fire into which thou did cast me.
So his faith was his what?
Protection.
It was his shield.
Word.
It was his armor. It was his protection in the Most High, in the Creator. So what is Nimrod or the king? What is he realizing now? Because like the scripture that talks about that we don't battle against flesh and blood, right? We just read that, did we not? But we battle against principalities, powers, spiritual wickedness in high places. But what we don't actually understand is, okay, for instance, Moshe became a what? Okay, somebody go to Exodus 7 and read verse 1 real quick. Anybody, just read
Exodus
7 and just read verse 1.
And Yahuwah said unto Moses, see, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet.
So Moshe became a what? He became an Elohim. So we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, just like Jacob when he wrestled the angel. Like, I don't even know how I'm trying to say this. Moshe became an Elohim to Nimrod, to the king, to all the witnesses. So now it wasn't just we wrestled not against flesh, but it was flesh and blood trying to wrestle against what Abram had just turned into. He turned into Abraham, and we just watched it. We just read it. And so there's been a lot of good ship Jesus, like, wait on Jesus, wait on the Lord. We know those who wait on the Most High, he will renew your strength. And there is a time for that, but how long are we going to wait? And what if we're not waiting on the Most High? Have you ever seen thought about he's waiting on us?
That's what he's doing
Like,
too.
Man,
he is waiting on us, because how did Abram manifest the godliness?
Because he diligently seeked out.
I wrote this.
We don't see him crying out to the Most High.
No, because he already, his faith was established right there and there.
It was established. So we're not waiting on the Most High. The Most High is waiting on us, because that's why the world is groaning for the manifestation of the sons and daughters of Elohim.
Because to diligently seek to seek the kingdom, you have to do your work.
You got to do your part.
Get up and do what you got to do to seek.
This is not the time for excuses. We have got to give the Most High more. For real.
It don't say you gotta work now, sis.
Word.
Believe it.
True. But we got to stop making excuses about spending time with the Most High. Reading, because we also read where Abram, he also was following the instructions of the Most High. That's his Torah. To understand his nature. But even like when Jacob, he sent his family off, and when he was wrestling against that angel in Peniel, he won against a malak or a god or angelic being that can't die. So that it has to mean that he had already transcended. He was already translated, like Enoch was translated. To fight against an Elohim and win. We just watched Abraham do it. He was. How do you walk through a fire and not be burned? For 3 days and 3 nights. It wasn't just, oh yeah, I ran into a burning house and I came out. How? 3 days and 3 nights. And he was what? Reborn. Like the manifestation has to come through us. The Most High, he's not waiting to just manifest himself in front of you. He's waiting on us to manifest his nature in ourselves. So then that the things that we speak become a life to everything or death to something.
Man, the power of your words.
Because death and life
is in the power
Yes.
of that tongue.
Okay,
and they that love us shall eat the fruit thereof.
Yes.
so check
By your
this-
words, you will be justified. Go ahead.
check this out. All right. You said something about he's waiting on us.
Right.
I remember in all of my belligerence, I was at church way back in the day, and I wrote this poem, and it made me mad. But the poem basically said, it pointed out that it said all these people talking about I found God, I found God, I found God, and I don't remember what I said after that, but basically it was I allowed him to find me, because even in the beginning when Adam and Eve was kicked out of the garden, they were hiding from him, not him hiding from them.
Facts.
He went looking for Adam.
Facts.
So then power in the tongue. So it's weird saying this. I've been battling this whole VA thing for a while. And, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get to the point like as fast as possible. So everything that I've said, and this Bird was talking about this the other day. He said everything you ever talked about has happened. You had a son, you put out a book, you got a lowrider, you got a house, you got da 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 da. But outside of that, I have said to people like, I remember when nobody believed you would have a house, dude. I remember, as soon as you said something, I was like, "That's dope. That's yours." I'm not saying that I got all kind of powers, Bird. I'll call you back. Freaking, it's I believe in that, and now you got a whole plantation. Like, not even trying to be funny, but real talk, you got a whole plantation.
That's
and
what
a
Master
business,
says.
and a business. I mean, she's waiting on, you know what I'm saying, the free labor. So anyway, freaking,
It's coming tomorrow.
as you were, so, all right, so the whole VA thing, I'm bringing it around to this, and it's like, this is my own realization. And it happened at like 3 this morning. I woke up to a message on my phone. I don't ever wake up to a message. I just don't. So freaking, I looked at my phone. Navy Federal said, you got 48,000 put in your account. You got like all the way messed up, bruh. Nope, I ain't accepting that. I'm not, because they be playing at the VA. They be taking money back. I was waiting on Monday to call the VA. I got a letter this morning. I'm thinking today's Sunday. I got a letter this morning from the VA saying, hey, the VA is wrong. Blah, 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 blah. The records say we rule in the veteran's favor. I have no idea what my percentage is now, not a clue. But I know that I don't have a car payment. I know that I don't have another deal. And I'm able to bless other people. And that's what I do every time. And I feel convicted for saying I. But what I'm trying to say is, whenever I have a lump sum of money or something, because I mean, it's really all I can give time, but you know, I'm always making excuses. But whenever I have money, freaking, I always try to put it towards something. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm able to help now. I feel like I'm able to do more now. You know, now that I've taken care of home and got things done, it's weird because it literally goes back to what y'all were talking about. Freaking, we need to come out of hiding. He ain't waiting to pop up in front of us. He waiting for us to jump out from behind that bush, naked or not. Come as you are. And then freaking power in the tongue. Like, I mean, telling people, hey man, you at a funeral, you crying, but it's gonna be okay. And then they're like, oh, it is. It's weird. Like, it's really weird. Sometimes I be feeling like an X-Man. But like, I'm like, for real, man. Like, I'm gonna stop talking. Anyway.
So,
but yeah, you powerful. Yeah. That's what you know, because we have these gifts that we don't even
utilize.
We don't even utilize. So like you said, sometimes we don't even know We just, it's coincidence. Nothing's happened coincidental. Nothing. So it's but like we have these power. We have this power. I don't say these powers, but we have a power that we don't even know how to tap into. We don't know how to utilize. We don't know we have. You know, we might be using it for the wrong thing. But like you saying, you like another thing you were saying. You don't like saying I. It's not. You know, you're not giving yourself the glory. You know what I mean? Just look at it like, man, you being blessed to bless somebody else. That's it. It ain't about what you're doing, because if you weren't blessed, you couldn't do it. So it's still him. You know what I mean? So don't beat yourself up on that.
That's like
Go ahead.
Pastor Campbell used to say that before I left the church. He said, "Watch me and watch." He said, "God." I say, "Y'all," but I still say, "Watch me and watch y'all," because whatever manifests in my life, it's only because of my faith in the Most High. So when people say, "Oh man, you got this," I'm like, "That ain't nothing but the Most High right there." I'm like, "Don't give me the glory. I'm giving the glory all to my Father, because I know exactly where that comes from."
There's no limits to what we can do.
At all.
As long as we believe in him, believe in the words that we speak. So never speak negative against yourself or anyone else.
Yourself.
Because we're supposed to respect our neighbors and keep our neighbors. So our neighbors, everyone we come in contact.
Yep.
I do my best to try not to speak ill about people, but some people make it hard.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can rebuke somebody.
It's a test every day,
Over
man.
rebuke is better than secret love.
Man, like listen.
One more time.
Over
Open
rebuke
rebuke
is
is
better than secret love.
You can rebuke somebody. I'm telling you, it was
It's okay to do that.
yes.
Respectfully though, you don't.
Yeah,
it's a
have to,
tone.
like, you know what I'm saying?
Your heart gotta be
you
straight.
have to remember
Right.
to be humble about everything that you do. You gotta, and that's just respectfully.
But like I
As
said,
long as you're doing
as long as your heart is straight,
sensitive,
you know what I mean? You know
Like,
in your heart you're not meaning
right,
ill will.
Yeah.
Cause like my mom's just constantly telling me, "You need to go see your grandma." I'm like, "Mom, I'm good. I'm cool. You can go see my grandma. I'm good. I'm not begging for her. You know, I'm cool. I've dismissed her a long time ago, and I feel no guilt whatsoever. Even though
I can relate.
it says, "Honor thy mother, thy father, that your days may be long on earth." I had a conversation with God one day. I said, I hear you. And if it means that I'm going to crash this car, I was in my lowrider that day and I hit a bump that was hard and I was locked up. So the car was doing all this craziness and I was scared. And I was like, well, if me disobeying them mean that I'm going to die today, then hey, I'm cool with that. But by the same token, I'm like, I want to be here for my kids.
Right.
But I refuse to grovel and bend to someone who has literally done nothing but tear my family down from the beginning.
Now, I do want to say one thing, man, because I even talked to Jessica about it. I do feel as if that there's certain things that you need to let go. It's holding you in the same place. You need to let it go. We all got stuff that we need to let go. Let the pain go. Let the hurt go. We're not a kid no more. You know, we can actually actively affect our situations now.
Mm-hmm.
We need to let it go.
I did let go of my past with her. I had that conversation with the same person. And
I'm not even just talking about that. I'm just talking about something.
I was just thinking about, we was talking about that and I was just like, I was just thinking about it. And I said, well, I did let that go, but I can't watch my mom, who's a 2-time heart attack, 2-time stroke survivor, keep going battling with this lady.
Okay, I understand that.
Respect this lady.
I get you.
That's where I'm at.
Well, I mean, that's wisdom though. That's not like respecting your parents and honoring your parents. You know how you are as well. Because if that's gonna get you emotionally unstrung to where you're just gonna go off and this and that, that's not fruitful either. Like, I mean, it's lawful for you to go talk to your grandmama, but if y'all two don't mix, then why would you come around that? Like, I get it. Now, in the Most High time, he may make a bridge or some type of way. But if you don't feel led that this is the time, then be like, it's not the time for that right now. I don't know. It may not ever be the time. That you're not gonna always get along with people, even if they're family.
Yep.
So like, don't let that hold you in a place of uncertainty of just wondering like, well, I disrespected my mama, so this and that. It's more than that. The Most High knows your heart.
Right.
But I really feel like there's something that you're just holding on to that you just want to let go. And let it go.
Speak plain.
I don't know. I don't know what it
It's
is.
a feeling.
I don't know what it is. But I kind of feel like it's
Don't
abandonment.
look at me. I don't know
I kind of feel like it's
me.
I kind of feel like it's abandonment issues, maybe. But outside of that, I mean,
pray about it. Ask the Most High to reveal to you what is bothering you. Because sometimes, as vessels, we don't know. We just know that there's something that's keeping us from being that full person that the Most High wants us to be.
yeah, but it's abandonment.
I'm gonna tell you what somebody told me. And this goes in the line about like us not wrestling against flesh and blood. You know, somebody told me, I'm like, man, because I was talking, I'm like, that's a spirit on this such and such person that I can't break through. No matter what I say, somebody else say, we can't break this through to this person. And somebody was like, there's probably just a spirit attacking you. And I thought about it. I'm like, so it might be something like it might be somebody in your life that has something attached that's attacking you. You see what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know that at all. I'm like, this person, this they personality, this is what they dealing with. But the whole time it's probably attacking me through this person. And I feel like, well, I ain't got no problem. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing that. Like I said, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood.
Yeah.
Roger.
So, you know what I mean? Let's just take that into consideration too. Like you said, it's things that could be at play. We have no idea.
Somebody could be praying against us.
Yeah.
People do that a
All the
lot.
time.
And I learned this at an early age because I knew that somebody was not praying as with the A, but they were really praying on me for my downfall. And I really had to start not only praying over myself, but over people that were around me. And then when my children come into the world, I still pray over my children and myself and anybody that I'm attached with, because you don't know who's praying against you.
And they have different Elohim. And if you ain't covered, if you don't have on your shield of faith, your protection, you're wide open for possession.
That's why I pray.
Because that's what depression is.
I pray with my threshold. Somebody come through my door. Whatever, I ain't supposed to be there. You ain't coming in this time.
And then that's what anxiety is. That's what abandonment is.
Yeah.
That's what all these things are.
They're all spirits.
We got to put on the shield of faith and believe that the Most High can purge us of these things. Because we can't do it ourselves. We can't. Like, we are so broken. Like, I came into some information about my family that I don't even know how to even like go forward. And I was just like, wow. Like, I just had to sit back like, man, from generation to generation to generation to generation, these people have broken us.
Yeah.
It stops with me.
There you go. Claim that thing.
It stops with me.
There you go.
Man.
Yeah.
We can just have a baby intervention just thing.
Like,
no.
Oh, did you finish up to 43? So we can.
I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Somebody else for that.
Yeah, bam. Finish through 43.
Let me get back
36.
12:36.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Haran, the brother of Abram, was burned to the ashes, and they sought for his body, and they found it consumed. And Haran was 82 years old when he died in the fire of Casdim. And the king, princes, and inhabitants of the land, seeing that Abram was delivered from the fire, they came and bowed down to Abram. And Abram said to them, do not bow down unto me, but bow down unto the Elohim of the world, who made you, and serve him, and go in his ways, for it is he who delivered me from out of the fire, and it is he who created the souls and spirits of all men, and formed man in his mother's womb, and brought him forth into the world, and it is he who will deliver those who trust in him from all pain.
And trust is what? Your what? Your faith.
Your faith.
It's your faith and your shield. There you go. Your buckler.
And this thing seemed very wonderful in the eyes of the king and princes, that Abram was saved from the fire, and that Haran was burned. And the king gave Abram many presents, and he gave him his two-headed servants. Oh, gave him two-headed servants. I'm thinking like two-headed.
Oh, wow. I had to go back and read it too.
Two-headed servants from the king's house. And the name of one of was Ani, and the name of the other was
Eleazar.
I heard it.
Yeah, because that ended up being Eleazar being his chief servant, his best one. Who he was going to, if he wasn't going to have a kid with Sarah, he was going to give the inheritance to Eleazar.
Go ahead, I'll wait.
Okay. And all the kings and princes and servants, all the princes and servants gave Abram many gifts of silver and gold and pearls. And the king and the prince sent him away, and he went in peace. And Abram went forth from the king in peace, and many of the king's servants followed him, and 300 men joined him. And Abram returned on that day and went to his father's house, and he and the men that followed him, and Abram served Yah, his Elohim, all his days of his life. And he walked in his way and followed his law. And from that day forward, Abram licensed his heart and inclined his hearts of the sons of men to serve Yahweh.
And then, like, if you read verse 44,
What was that word?
that goes right back to where we was reading that in Genesis.
It's like people say Yahuwah.
Yeah, YAH'S for short, YH.
They say Yahweh.
Oh, yeah,
That's what I learned today. So.
Yeah, well, he's a little bit more in depth in Hebrew than I am because he actually went to school for it.
Right.
Or went to a teaching about it, my bad. Or teaching, he was...
I have the books, Jessica.
Okay.
You haven't shared them.
Bam.
I didn't.
You said that last time.
Yeah, he tried to put you on Front Street.
Right.
And 44, you say?
No, 43. No, because where we were reading in Genesis before, like verse 44 here in the book of Jasher is going to go right along with where we were reading it in Genesis. That's why I took y'all back through Jasher to understand Abram's story, because he had to literally seek him. And then when he got caught, he saw his brother get burnt to a crisp, and he still had faith like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like,
because he knew
Elohim
he
got
was
me.
serving,
Like,
right?
Don't say
like,
make your calling and election sure.
Man,
I am my brother's keeper, but
So
serving them and
the epiphany that I had was we was talking about movies and how they parade the stuff in front of us.
Oh wow.
Matrix, the Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah.
It just like popped in my head just randomly. I was just like,
Neo, he fell in love with Trinity.
The city that they lived in when they got out of the Matrix,
Zion.
Yeah.
Will Smith was supposed to be Neo. He turned it down. Yeah, he turned it down. The creator of the Matrix series was a black woman. Yes. Yeah. Will Smith literally turned it down. I'm like,
his wife took Aaliyah's role, so full circle.
yeah. But
I had a blast this short time with y'all. Learned some things.
This is a powerful lesson.
Super dope.
yeah, well, praise the Most High for that. Don't like he said. Look, praise the Most High Creator. Don't give me nothing. Give him everything. Everything, all the praises due to it. But I always ask y'all, did it make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Total sense.
Because we know, again, faith without works is dead. This is Pehaction. This is about diligently seeking him. It's time to stop with the excuses. Carve out an hour, whether it's reading and prayer, whatever. Carve out an hour a day. You got an hour a day for all your TV shows, all your movies, all the food we want to eat.
More than an hour.
Yeah.
I'm still rapping in that TV. 2 seasons in, I'm like, man, I ain't know this much time in a day.
I just got through watching the second episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm still mad.
So
I gotta watch.
it's time to follow the faith of Father Abraham or Abram, either one. And Ben, can you pray us out?
Yes, sir. Heavenly Father, we come to you and I want to say thank you for this wonderful time we had on this Shabbat.
Yeah, man.
We ask and pray that you keep us throughout the rest of our days. Lead us, guide us, strengthen us, forgive us, deliver us. Father, I ask that you give us the faith that we need to serve you, not what we want, but where we need to serve you, Heavenly Father. We ask and pray that you look over our lives and block the things that we don't see coming, block the things from our past that's haunting us, and block the things in the future that's trying to get us. And whatever presently what we're going through, Father, we ask that you block it also.
Yes.
Let us diligently seek you, Heavenly
Yes.
Father. Not
Investigate.
man, not women, nobody else, not our pastors, grandma, papa. We just let us seek you and your truth, Heavenly Father. We love you, we praise you, we lift you up, we magnify your holy and righteous name. And these have been a blessing, your darling son, Yeshua, we pray. Amen.
Hallelujah. Shalom, family. Aki Huda signing out. YAH'S Assembly.
Oh,
Idolizing the churches.
man.
Of things not seen, things so